All right, welcome back. Let's get our hands dirty. In part one, we talked about Kira's core features. Now we build. We are going to create a complete production-ready REST API for a task management app. And I'm talking the whole thing. Authentication, CRUD operations, validation, all of it, starting from just a single prompt. You know, this quote from AWS CEO Matt Garman it nails the exact pain point every single developer feels. It's one thing to get AI to spit out a quick demo, but that journey from a prototype to something you can actually ship to production with confidence, that is a huge leap. And that gap is exactly what Kiro is designed to close. So here's our game plan for this build. We're going to start by guiding the AI, then we'll hit that magic moment of spec generation. After that, we put the coding on autopilot, see how the spec stays alive with our code, and finally, we'll take a step back and look at everything we just built. Let's get started. Okay, before we write a single creative prompt, we need to set the rules of the road. This is where Kiro's agent steering comes in. It's how we make sure the AI builds things our way, following our project standards. We do this with three really simple markdown files. First, product.md. That just describes what we're building. Then, tech.md. This is where we lock in our stack, Node.js, Express, and Jest for testing. And finally, structure.md lays out our exact folder structure. These files give Kiro persistent context, so it knows our rules and follows them every single time. All right, now for the part that, well, it genuinely feels like magic. We are about to generate the entire plan for our API. The requirements, the technical design, the implementation tasks, everything from just one single sentence.
And this is it. This is our one and only prompt. We're not doing a bunch of back and forth. We just tell Kiro what we want in plain English, one prompt to a complete spec. That's the magic. And bam, here's the first file it creates, requirements.md. Kiro takes our simple request and turns it into formal user stories using ears notation, which is a syntax that comes from mission-critical engineering, like at Rolls-Royce. But here's the most important part. Any assumptions the AI has to make, like how JWT auth should work, become explicit requirements that we can actually see and approve. Next up, Kiro generates design.md. Think of this as our technical blueprint. It defines all the API endpoints, the data models in TypeScript, the full database schema. It even defines a standard format for error responses. This is real production architecture, not just some code cobbled together. And finally, we get tasks.md. Now, this isn't just a simple to-do list. It's a complete, sequenced project plan. Kiro actually understands dependencies. It knows you need to build the user auth before you can build the task routes. It even includes tasks for writing tests and links every single action back to a specific requirement. This is real project management, not just random code generation. So with our spec fully generated and approved by us, we can now hit the big red button, autopilot mode. We did the thinking and the planning up front. Now we just let Kiro execute that plan and write all the code for us. And just look at the quality difference here. On the left, you've got your typical bare-bones tutorial code. On the right is what Kiro generates. It's got security best practices like Helmet for headers, proper JWT middleware, real input validation with joy schemas, and automated tests with super tests from the get-go. And that really gets to the core idea here. We're getting production patterns, not tutorial shortcuts. The entire point is to generate code that is secure, robust, and maintainable from the very first file. Okay, but we all know the reality of software development, right? Requirements change. So what happens when we need to add a new feature? This is usually where documentation goes to die. But with Kiro, it's where the magic just keeps on going. So instead of digging around in the codebase, we go back to our source of truth, the requirements.md file. We just add our new user story, right there in plain English, describing the search feature we want. Once that's saved, we just tell Kiro to sync. It immediately analyzes the change, it updates the design document with a new search endpoint, it adds the new work to our task list, and then it generates all the necessary code, the new route, the controller, and of course the tests to go with it. And this just perfectly illustrates the core principle. Change the spec and the code follows. It's that simple. Your documentation never gets out of date because it is the thing that drives the implementation. This solves one of the oldest, biggest headaches in software. This whole idea is supercharged by something called Kiro hooks. Think of them as little automated teammates. You can set up a hook to automatically run your tests every time you save a file or scan for leaked secrets before you commit. It is literally like having a senior dev reviewing your every move, enforcing best practices for you.
Okay, let's just pause for a second and take stock of what we've actually accomplished here using the spec-driven approach. It's kind of wild. The entire process, from that single prompt to a fully working tested API, took about 20 minutes. Seriously, think about that. 20 minutes for something that takes hours, if not days, to build manually. And look at what we've got. This isn't some fragile prototype. It is a complete REST API with proper JWT authentication, real input validation, a full suite of automated tests, and living documentation that is perfectly in sync with the code. About 15 production quality files, all from that one initial plan. This just completely changes the game for starting new projects. So the real question isn't just what we built, it's what would you build if you could stand up a production-ready backend in just a few minutes? In part 3, we're going to take this API and build a full-stack React application on top of it. Let us know in the comments what you'd build.